good morning.
Is this Al Lewis?
That's it, in person.
All right.
Grandpa Munster.
I used to do a show from Atlanta.
Did you really?
No
yeah,
kidding.
for Ted Turner. Sure, Super Scary Saturday. I used to go down to the plantation, right in back of Georgia Tech and
Oh, that's
film
right.
there.
Oh, I do remember that. What year was that? When did you do that?
When did I do it?
When did you do
what
that
year?
Ted Turner show?
Oh, I would say about 11 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And about 11, 12 years ago, I used to fly down there, and I used to write it, and I was the only performer in it. We called Do It in One. And I put in, I'd say 4 or 5 in a can. Then when he get close to catching up, because he had a lot of movies, and a lot of grade B and Z movies.
Right.
So he needed intros. So I used to do intros. We do bookends and then bumps in the middle of the movie.
Hey, don't talk about that kind of stuff on our show, Grandpa Munster.
Why not?
Doing bumps in the middle of the movie?
Why not? That's what your daddy did.
Hey, look out now.
Look out now! Don't tell me look out to talk to your daddy that way.
Who's your daddy? Hey,
How old were you when you first got into showbiz?
I was going to ask that same question.
Never been old. Right now, I'm 91 years young.
Right.
Okay, well, how young were you?
1923. Since I was born in 1910, I was 13 years old.
Was that
young.
vaudeville? What were you doing back then?
No, my first job was in the circus. I wanted to be a clown. They wouldn't let me be a clown. Elephants eat a lot. They're vegetarians. They leave a lot to be desired, and I was the kid with the shovel moving that desired around.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Al, we were trying to figure out earlier who is still alive from the Munsters. Obviously you.
Everyone except my dear friend Fred Gwynn.
Oh, Yvonne DiCarlo is still alive?
Yes, she is.
I didn't know that.
Yes, she is,
All right.
living in Santa Maria, California. She's alive. Pat Priest is a grandmother, lives in Buell, Idaho.
She was Marilyn
Rich
Munster.
Patrick is still alive, although he's not the little boy in the velvet pants. He's 48 years young.
How many? Yeah, he was supposed to be on our show a month ago, and he stiffed us.
Well, what can I tell you?
Yeah, and he was even in Atlanta. Yeah. Grandpa, how many years was Munsters in production?
2.
That's
68
it?
shows.
That's all.
But back then they did how many shows a season?
39.
39
Wow.
shows a season.
Right.
So there's about 80
Well, they did them in
out
3
there.
packages of 13. Yeah, 39.
Yeah.
We
And-
did 39, and we did 68 in total, and it's been in syndication ever since.
And how
30.
much money did you make per season? Let's hear a shocker.
Are you from the IRS, you dirty, rotten?
No, I mean,
Really?
seriously, just to give people an idea of
Of
how
the difference.
of the difference of money. Like back then in the
The
60s.
difference in money.
I mean,
Well,
you
I'm
got the
saying
Fringe people
Astronomical.
I know.
making $1 million an episode. What would Grandpa Munster back in the day?
Yeah, what were you making?
Maybe 10
10 what?
an episode.
10,000 an episode?
Yeah,
But that back then was good money, right?
sure it was.
That was like 100,000 now.
Yeah, wasn't that?
No. There are people now who get $1 million or more.
I know, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
10
Yeah.
grand probably
Yeah.
spent about like 100.
Yeah.
Back in the day, did you hang out with other Hollywood types?
Hollywood type. No,
yeah,
I
other
don't know.
actors. Were you friends with other actors?
On the scene.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah. Did you
Oh,
go-
sure. At
Like who?
Universal, there's so many shows going on. It's one of the largest studios in the world in production. And I got to know. I don't. You mean by hang out? You mean did I go to the den of inequity and do all the crazy things? No. I had a family. I got to tell you, I only went in my 30 years on the coast. I only went to one Hollywood party.
No kidding.
That's it.
What was the-
Purposely.
well,
Well,
what was
because
it-
I was interested in my family.
Well, what got you out? What was the one big party?
The agent begged, you got to go and see Harry Rigby, who's since passed on. He's doing a lot of Broadway shows, revivals, musicals. He wants to talk to you, get some information. He's doing a show called Sugar Babes. Can you tell him about some acts? He kept hounding me, and I went. That was it. Otherwise, my kids, we went to the beach. I went to San Diego, went to the zoo, took them all over.
You must have been hounded because of your popularity from the Munsters.
Hounded?
When you went out, this Grandpa Munster.
Yeah, well, it still is.
I know.
No matter where, because as you and I are talking right now, it's running in 41 countries of the world in their languages, and you ought to hear me speak Spanish and French and Japanese and Greek. I'm telling
That's
you,
impressive.
I am a wonder.
First of all, how old were you when you were Grandpa Munster on
I
the show?
was never old.
How
How
young
young?
were you?
Well, yeah, it's very simple. I don't want you to take off your shoes and use your toes as an abacus. I'm 91 right now, and that was 37 years ago. Now, quick, come on up with the answer.
All right, so that was in 60. What year was it?
64 and 65.
All right, so you were born in 1910, so
That's
you
right.
were in your 50s when that
is
show was big.
Oh, man, good Lord, go to the head of class with that pointed hat
So
on your
when
head.
you were in your 50s and you were Grandpa Munster, and that show was that show as big back then as it later became in reruns, or was it one of those shows
it
that
was
became
giant.
bigger in reruns?
Big.
It was. And did you have a lot of young girls hanging
Yeah, did
around
you
wanting
have
to
a lot
meet a
of
little?
groupies?
Trying to attach themselves to me, yeah.
You did.
But I was not interested. I was married. I had 3 young boys, and all I'm interested, I'm old-fashioned enough. I never went. I only went in my 30 years in Hollywood. I went to one Hollywood party.
You
Never went
mentioned
out
that.
with any of those Hollywood starlets.
Never tempted.
Never went. Wait, hey, let me tell you something. I saw all them Hollywood starlets at 6 a.m. in the morning. Phew, man, they didn't look like they looked at 8 that night.
I believe that.
Hey, Al, did you ever do stand-up comedy?
Does a chicken defecate? What are you talking about, young man?
Did he ever do?
Often and frequently. What is the matter with that, man? You a backward man. I got to tie you up in a croaker sack and leave you out in the field in the
croaker
turnip
sack.
field.
I had not seen you out doing comedy. That's all, because we don't
You
get a lot of
haven't.
action.
How old are you?
13.
Good Lord. I was doing comedy at 1920s, 30s, 40s. Where was you? You wasn't even
I
an
missed
amoeba.
that. I missed the 30s and the 40s.
I know you did.
So, Al, how is your health? You're 92. Everything holding together
Terrific.
pretty well?
I'm going to be 92 the last day in April.
God
Terrific.
bless you.
You're the most energetic 91-year-old I've ever met.
I know.
That's exactly what my wife said last night.
Hey,
Man.
What,
man.
what U.S. presidents have you met?
Have I met?
Yeah.
Oh,
Have
let
you
me
met
see.
him?
When I played, did shows in Washington, D.C., at the National Theater on Houston Street, I met Mamie Eisenhower. I met Eisenhower. She was a theater goer. She used to come Wednesday matinees and then invite the cast to come Saturday morning to have tea at the White House.
Did you ever meet?
Of course, I met Reagan. He used to be president of my union, the
That's
Screen
right.
Actors Guild.
That's right.
I never met Nixon.
Ever meet Thomas Jefferson?
Kennedy. No. John Adams, I did.
You did meet John Adams.
I met John Adams. He and I, he and I, we shared a pint down at the Stuyvesant Oaks. Yeah. He was a nice man.
All right.
Nice man. Didn't know the first thing about television.
Well, you're a
Grandpa,
nice man.
Al, it was great to have you on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Grandpa Munster.
God bless you.
Al Lewis.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Well, that was a pleasant surprise. I didn't know what to expect.
And he's
Yeah.
quick.
Well,
I
he's
didn't even
old.
know he was still alive.
He's old vaudeville.
quick.
He's
yeah.
very funny.
He's still
Cantankerous.
cantankerous.
That's it.
He still does a lot of those car shows and makes
He's a live wire.
I'll tell you what is a little sad though. I don't know if you've ever seen him recently, but they still dress him up in the old Grandpa Munster getup, and they put on that tuxedo with the pointed ears, and they slick back his hair, and it's a little sad because he's still parading around in that kind of hokey getup because he's Grandpa Munster.
He's probably getting for an appearance what he made an episode back then.
He's probably having fun with it, though.
I wonder what he gets for an appearance. I'll bet no more than $5 grand.
Something like that.
But still, you know,
Sure, you're
$5
Grandpa
grand.
Munster, you're 91, you go hang out in a cool city and show up for 2 hours for
and you're
$5
Grandpa
grand.
Munster.
And you're Grandpa Munster. You do
Yeah.
a couple of those a month,
Nothing wrong with
and
that, yeah.
you don't need more than that.
The best of the Morning X. 99.